Hey everyone, Dan Saavedra here from mergerdata.com. And today I wanted to go over HubSpot attribution reporting and some things to watch out for that we've been seeing with clients that have been using HubSpot's attribution reporting features. Now, when you're reading about attribution reporting in HubSpot, it seems like it's pretty much a silver bullet for tracking how things are closing, what activities in marketing and sales are contributing to your closed deals. But in reality, there's a lot of things that you have to watch out for, and we'll be going over those in this video here. So the number one note and takeaway from this whole video is going to be make sure that your data quality is very, very good. Make sure that you are associating things correctly in HubSpot and that everything is filled out as it should be. So data quality is a huge precursor to using attribution reporting in HubSpot. And if you don't have that, you're not going to find much value in this feature. So let's dive into the specifics here. Before we jump into the specifics that you should watch out for, I just want to point out that HubSpot has a really great set of documentation for this subject. It's a little bit lengthy, but it is worth the read because this will provide much more detail than I'll be able to provide on this video here. But I would definitely recommend going to this Understand Attribution Reporting article, as well as interaction types for your attribution reports, because this gets into the details of how you can customize everything on these attribution reports. So the first thing that I want to point out with HubSpot revenue attribution is that it doesn't take into any account any revenue or customer interactions outside of HubSpot with some very specific parameters. So in order for it to be counted in HubSpot, you have to have tracking URLs, which includes UTMs to the campaign included, or it has to direct and land a person on a page with HubSpot code. Now, the exception to that is adding in custom behavioral events, which you can see all of the options here on this page. So if we scroll all the way down, you can see we have custom behavioral events here that will then report back to HubSpot, and then we'll see it in the revenue attribution as an option to select. So you have to make sure to record those interactions inside of HubSpot on the contact and on the deal, and make sure to have the correct UTMs tying back to the campaign. So that's the number one thing that we see. A lot of people miss out on that, and so they're just wondering why that revenue attribution isn't very accurate there, and that tends to be a big problem. The next big thing that we see is if any revenue or customer interactions from deals do not have certain property values. And those property values are the amount property, the create date property, and the close date property. And this actually is more frequent than you would expect. A lot of companies will forget to require the amount property when they're closing deals, but if this is not included, then you won't see those deals show up in your attribution reporting. So that's a really big deal, something that you have to make sure that you have down pat with automation, with required properties when moving deals through certain stages. The next thing we see is something that's not very obvious in my opinion, but it really hurts attribution reporting if it's not done correctly. And it's actually kind of hard to fix this issue going forward. It is possible, it just takes quite a bit of work to get the associations correct. But that issue is that sales activities have to be associated to both the contact and the deal record for attribution reporting to work correctly. And so if you don't have those sales activities, so calls, meetings, conversations, one-to-one emails associated to both the contact and the deal, then your revenue attribution reports are not going to be accurate. And so if you have to fix this historically, then you're going to have to add a bunch of pretty complex workflows with the API in order to reassociate everything with both the contacts and the deals successfully. There might be a way to do that in the UI actually, now that I think about it, but I don't know off the top of my head. But that's one thing to look out for. So make sure that sales activities are associated with both the contact and the deal. If not, attribution reporting will not be accurate. The next thing, and this one is really deep in the weeds, but any one-to-one emails that have been sent but have not received a reply, that will not be counted in revenue attribution. And so even though you might send a one-to-one sales email that a person reads and influences their decision to go and book a meeting on your website or go to your website and research pricing or something like that. It won't be included in the revenue attribution reporting. And so it's just something to watch out for. You can't really work around this too much, but don't discount the fact that certain emails might have been opened and a user might have taken an indirect action with that email. It's why attribution reporting isn't the silver bullet. You have to pair it with some other common sense and some other data from additional systems. And last but not least, there are certain criteria that deals need to meet in order to be counted with revenue attribution. The first one is super obvious in my opinion. It's that deals need to be in close one. If you use additional stages before close one that are considered soft closed by your organization, I don't know why you would use that, but you might have a good reason. Then those would not be counted in the revenue attribution. So let's say you have a stage like deposit, but it's not technically fully closed one until they pay, then, or they pay the full contract price, then that would not be included in your revenue attribution reporting. Next, the deal has to have at least one associated contact. So this goes back to correctly associating contacts, deals, and sales activity. If you don't do that already, then that's a critical thing for you to have in order for revenue attribution to work. No associated contacts means that deal is not going to be included. And last but not least is the thing we covered before, but I'll just cover it again. You need to have the amount, the create date, and the close date properties all filled out on the deal in order for this to work. So wanted to bring these up because obviously documentation can be kind of a drag to read through, and video/audio content is usually an easier way to consume this type of information passively, but it still might be useful, something you might want to just listen to on a walk. So hopefully this helps out in terms of understanding HubSpot revenue attribution and how that reporting works, and maybe will allow you to get some better data behind it and not just abandon the tool altogether. So just remember, data quality is super critical for a lot of the reporting and attribution, and not only HubSpot, but other tools as well. This is something we specialize in, so obviously it's something we get exposed to quite a bit, digging into why certain reporting might not be accurate or up to the expectations of clients before they bring us in. So just wanted to share this with the community here. I'm Dan Saavedra from mergerdata.com. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.